Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to talk to you about 5 things you need to avoid when working with angels. If you're watching this video, if you're watching this YouTube channel, your angels have pointed you here. Now, not everyone has angels in the sense that if you're a really, really bad person, then your angels probably are reduced to 1, which is your guardian, and that's about it. But for people who are good people or generally good people, they find their way to my channel, so welcome. Now, I'm going to try to keep this a shorter video, but in this video I'm going to teach you about 5 extremely important things which I have on my handy dandy notepad over here, because I could name 5 different things you should just not do when working with angels, and then the 5 turns into 10, and the 10 turns into like 12, and then I'm here for another 30 minutes, and I'm like, well, this is supposed to be a short YouTube video, right? Well, it's gonna be because I've written them down. Now, I teach angelology on my YouTube channel, and it's pretty easy. Give yourself to God. Become the highest and best, most pure version of yourself that you could possibly be. That's about it. Now, the first thing, because I'm going to dive straight into this, the first thing you should avoid, and by the way, I am making rings. I'm loving my rings. I have them on my website, floridastoneman.com, but the first thing I'm going to talk about, because I just noticed that, being bossy. Yeah, being bossy. This is a big no-no when it comes to angels. Your angels know everything about you. They've been with you since past lives, lifetimes before that, and lifetimes before that. So, the only one who gives them orders, can you guess, is God, or other angels who are above them, who are in the place that God put them to give orders, such as Saint Michael, Gabriel, other 7 archangels. If the angel, and the orders are not like, oh, I'm gonna give you an order, like, ha ha ha. No, it's like, hey, can you help this person out? Like, they might need you to be here at this time. Okay. That's it. And the angel is just like, okay. They discuss stuff. They're not bossy towards each other at all. They are not bossy towards each other, but you shouldn't be bossy towards them either. And God is very nice to the angels too. He's very kind to the angels. The angels are doing his work, and they love doing his work. They're very, very amazing beings of light. The ones who didn't want to do his work are now ex-angels, which we don't really talk about on this channel, because we're speaking about the beings that don't end up in a very warm place in the afterlife, as someone said on TikTok, which I thought that was hilarious. But the first thing you're not supposed to do with angels is be bossy. What does that contain? Bring me this. Do this for me. Do that for me. You're gonna do this because I told you to do this. Because when humans are being bossy towards angels, and my impression of a bossy person towards an angel, you're gonna do this because I told you to do this. Because the person's probably not in the right mind, and they're probably biting their tongue anyway, so them talking to an angel like, you're gonna do this because I told you to do this, that doesn't work like that. You actually get less help from your angels and more judgment from the Creator, which those are his teachers. Those are who he puts here to help us. And if you're trying to boss around the help as a human, how dare you? But it's incredibly important to not be bossy when it comes to angels. This will run them off. This will put you in a hot spot. Not in a hot spot, well, maybe in a hot spot down there if you're someone who's trying to do bad with angels, and I can tell you, if you're trying to do bad with angels, these are the helpers of humanity. It's, I'd like to say, almost worse than doing bad with a human. It's just equally the same, maybe worse, etc. Because there's a very specific karma to trying to aggravate an angel, because they're just here to help us. Like, that's their pure purpose. And you can't even, some of you could see them, but if you're trying to boss them around, lifespan, depending on who's bossing them, because some people don't know they're bossing them around. Some people are doing it because they're being malicious. If you're being malicious, I don't want to say what happens to people who are malicious towards angels, but you could take their lifespan and cut it in half. Just like that. Now, a second thing, and yeah, take the lifespan and just clip it in half, maybe less. Now, the second thing you want to completely avoid with angels is, and I'm looking at my handy dandy notepad. You don't want to be over reliant at all. So, well, I like my angels to do everything for me. They're gonna do everything. They're gonna do absolutely everything. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to do nothing. Well, if that was the case, they'd be here in the flesh, right? No. Even people who are your teachers in life, people who are with you, they're still not going to do everything with you. Everything for you. They'll do it with you, but not for you. So, for example, your teacher in school, they're not taking your test for you. What are you going to learn if you don't study for the test? Is your teacher who knows the material going to study for the test for you? No. Same thing applies to your angels. They're your teachers. They're your guides, your mentors, your protectors. Be very respectful towards your angels if you haven't picked that up so far. Another thing is, I'm not saying the subject of over-reliance for a second. So if you're relying on your angels to do 100% of everything, all your blessings will be just set back. It just states that you're not responsible and you don't really understand how that mechanism works. So physical law applies to spirit. I mean, it runs along the same spectrum of physical law and spiritual law being in one. So it's like a highway with just two lines. And those two lines are running up. So basically there's the two black lines and there's the two yellow lines on the highway. So that's how spiritual law runs. It goes together in the same direction. So don't be over-reliant on them because it just stays. And same thing with over-reliance on anything. So if you're just praying all day and night and you're talking to God, God, can you do this for me? Can you do this? But you're not doing anything yourself. Until you've done everything you could possibly do, until there's nothing left for you to do, and you just surrender everything to God after you do that. And that's it. But you're not supposed to not do anything and be like, oh, I like it. Or just, you're not supposed to do the bare minimum. Just be like, well, I'd like you to do everything for me. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way in real life either. Well, this is real life, but in physical life. So if they were here in the flesh, you still wouldn't do that with them. So why are you doing that? I'm not saying you're doing that with them, but why would you assume you can do that with them? Like that. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. The third thing you want to completely avoid with angels is just doubting your angels. What do you mean by this? So when you constantly doubt your angels, like, well, are they really there for me? Are they really there for me? Are they really helping me? They're probably not around. They're probably not around. Meanwhile, your angels are just literally staring at you, talking to each other. They're just like, because they speak to each other very often and they speak very fast with each other. And for the people who are gifted with hearing angels, you can hear them talking to each other. So you might hear it in your language or another language because they have their language. Now, they have multiple languages. If they don't want you knowing what they're saying, you're not going to find out. They have screens and panels as to how they could turn off things from listening to them. How cool is that? Now, there's a whole bunch of properties that's just a very basic. There's a whole in-depth properties of angels talking to each other, but I won't teach that on here for good reason. But be trusting with your angels, and it helps a connection. Remember, your connection with your angels, between you and your angels, is a relationship. You guys are in a relationship with each other. So your angels are always there to help you and protect you and to guide you. If they're doing nothing but good for you, and they just want to see you do good, no matter what day you're doing, no matter what day you're in or what you're doing, your angels just want to help you. And to assume distrust in them breaks the connection barrier between you and them. It's just, from your angels who are going to talk to you, they're not going to really talk to you if they don't have to anymore. And that just kind of snips the connection. So don't be untrusting with angels. My fourth thing to never do with working with angels is blaming them. This is a giant one. This is actually a very big one. If you're someone who blames angels, I can tell you right now, if you blame your angels for anything that goes on around you, all your blessings get put on hold. They stop coming in. Blessings stop. So, and more troubles will start stacking up. So if you're like, well, my angels, they're not helping me. They're not helping me. And they're not doing anything for me. How dare my angels not help me? I was supposed to get a raise at work, but the angels didn't help me. Well, the first thing you gotta ask yourself, are you talking to God first? You have to go through God first to talk to your angels. So ask God for help first. Then ask your angels, hey, can I have some help with this? And they'll do their absolute best, okay? So your angels will just do their the most they could possibly do. But you're in the physical world, so you put in the work, and they're gonna help you. They're not gonna do, like I said from number 2 and number 3. I mean, these actually all just go together. But be trusting in them, and know that you're not supposed to blame them. Don't be over-reliant. Don't point the finger. Because if you ever pay attention to someone who's always pointing the finger, everyone but themselves, they're the problem. It's always the case. This person's the problem. This person's the problem. This person's the problem. This person's the problem. Well, if you have so many problems with so many different people, you're the problem. Same thing occurs in the workplace, especially because I help people who are in the workplace and they're like, well, everyone's mean to me and everyone's nasty and everyone's hating and everyone's trying to fight me and everyone's like confronting me and I'm not. And this is 100 different people telling me different stories about them in the workplace, because the workplace is where a lot of stuff happens. But if you're like, well, my angels didn't help me in the workplace and everyone's the problem, well, you just blame. I mean, if you didn't yell and scream at everyone wouldn't yell and scream at you. If you didn't look at people like, then they wouldn't look at you like, okay, so calm it down. Evaluate yourself and don't blame anyone but yourself. And ask God to show you where you're going wrong, and He will. It's that simple. This goes on to number 5, because I actually went through these pretty quickly. Because if I did any more, it'd be a 20-minute, 30-minute video. And this is straight to the point. Well, very straight to the point. I do just assume you guys know this, but when people are new when working with angels, they don't really know how it works. Maybe I'll make a future video about how your angels actually help you. Because people don't really know how to conceptualize angels. They're literally standing next to you. They're literally just like... For the people who are able to perceive angels, they're just like standing next to you like this. Just watching you, making sure you're good, making sure you're okay. They follow you around. They talk to each other. They do some cool stuff. But people don't really know. Like, I wonder if my angels are around me. I wonder if my angels can hear me. I wonder if my angels can feel me. Meanwhile, your angel's looking at you like this. Like, they're all around all at once. Like, everything's always watching, always. Even if you try to say an angel's name out loud, you won't finish the angel's name before it shows up. That's how omnipresent they are. Not necessarily the guardians, because the guardians are more so associated with helping people individually, but like guardian angels versus the higher archangels. But I'm going to get to my 5th point now. The 5th thing you don't want to do when working with angels, especially with the archangels, because they won't like this. They will not like this. And you don't want to have an archangel not liking something you're doing, because they can perform a slap. They can be like, bah, wake up. And they do it out of love, like a parent. They're like, it's not a slap, it's mean. It's like, oh, he slapped me. It's like, whoa, what was that? When I was younger and I was working with archangels, yeah, they would slap and I was doing something wrong. They would go, bah! It could be a coffee out of my hand. If for example, because I was very fiery when I was younger, and people in Florida are very fiery too. So I've learned to not, like, especially when I was a kid, a very young kid, I was a little more aggressive because I have a lot of energy. And I'm like, people in Florida, they'll make a look at you and they'll go like this. People call it the German stare. People, like, it's like the German stare of Florida. So people will look at you like, for no reason. That's Florida. That's just Florida's like, and you're not supposed to react back. Back then I would. I'd be like, what? What? Like, hey. And what do you think that would happen? What do you think would happen? When I was, it was 17 or 18, I believe. And that I was doing the same thing and I knew not to do it. So I reacted to someone walk past me like this. Because they weren't, people in Florida would like a reaction from you. And I'm like, and that day I wasn't having it. I was like, I didn't realize how to process certain energies back then, so I let it affect me. And I said to the person, I'm like, what? Why are you looking at me like that? And I confronted them on the spot. And they just walked away very quickly. As I was holding my coffee, I'm not going to say which angel, it was one of the 7, just went and slapped the coffee out of my hand. It's like the coffee telekinetically just flew. And I was like, okay, I get it. It spilled all over me. But they didn't do it to... They didn't do it as like a punishment. They did it so I would learn like, hey, like, wake up. Don't let this happen again or it won't be a coffee. Like, they'll do that just to make sure you avoid bad karma. Sometimes they'll do that so you don't get bad karma. It's not mean. It's just like, it's like, wake up. Wake up. The 5th thing you should avoid with angels, finally on to number 5, being transactional. You can do this with spirits. You can't do it with angels. For people, and this is why I barely teach about giving angels offerings, is because these angels will literally show up around you, and you're like, well, I'm giving you this for an offering. And people will do this with St. Michael, so I have to be careful how I teach about giving St. Michael offerings, because I know how humans are. They'll give an offering and be like, well, you're going to do this for me now. Really? He knows your intention. He's the number 1 angel, so he's going to know. So when I say for people, if you'd like, you may leave black coffee for him. Not a lot of people do this because a lot of people are a lot more intelligent than this, but more people with darkness in their intentions will leave coffee for him and be like, okay, here's coffee. Well, take care of my enemies for me. Like, I would like everyone at work to perish. Here's your coffee, though. It's like, you don't know. He's literally looking at you like, you don't think I know what you're doing? And it's just like it's an insult. It's a slap in their face. It's like, you thought you could outsmart an angel. You'll never, ever, you will never outsmart or outthink an angel or a demon. They've been here much longer than you have, and they've been here since man has been made on this planet. You can't. Just don't be transactional with an angel, because they'll just get like disturbed. They'll be like this person's they're really trying that with me. It's like they just love you. They're unconditionally loving you, and you're like, hey, do this for me, huh? Or I'm gonna make you do this if I leave this for you. It's like, really? That's what our connection is? That's what our trust is? If I leave a sponge cake for this angel, they're gonna do everything I ask. The angel will show up and just be like, seriously? Like, that's what I mean to you? I'm offering? Like, you're trying to do a bargain with me? And most likely what will happen is the angel will ignore you. Angels are very good at ignoring people, especially of darkness. They won't even help. They don't even care about people of darkness like that. They're just like, oh, whatever. They'll turn their back to them and help someone else who's of light. And that person, since the angel usually leaves, they'll show up and be like, this again? Bye. And they'll just bolt. So usually a spirit takes the place of that angel, because if the angel was standing there, the spirit will walk in and be like, oh, yes, I'm the angel. Yes, I am Saint Michael. And it's a spirit pretending to be Saint Michael. And the spirit pretending to be Saint Michael's like, oh, I'll take care of all your enemies at work. Next time you leave coffee, put some whiskey next to the coffee. Yeah, I'm still Saint Michael. And then the spirit will start saying things such as, well, your enemies will suffer, and they're gonna have agony, and they're gonna pay for it. And they'll start getting like, well, your enemies, and the people who hear the spirits will be like, yeah, good Saint Michael. And that's not Saint Michael. It's the spirit pretending to be Saint Michael, because Saint Michael's just unimpressed, looking at you like, this person's doing this to themselves, and they're too foolish to realize they're too foolish to realize that they're getting charlatan. But, and this is a super interesting video topic, 5 things you should never do when working with angels if you'd like to continue working with angels, which they'll always be around to help you if you're a good person, and if, most importantly, you're moving closer to God. But, number 1, don't be bossy with them. 2, don't over-rely on them. You wouldn't do that with an actual teacher. You're not going to do that with a teacher in the spiritual realm, or a teacher in spiritual form. Number 3, don't be untrusting of them, or always doubting them. It's like, and they're looking at you like. Number 3. Number 3. This is number 3, guys. Number 4. Number 4. This is why I don't like doing notepads, but I'll just put the notepad on the computer next time. Number 4. Don't blame them for stuff. Number 5. Don't use them, and don't be transactional with them. And you'll have a wonderful connection with your angels, and you'll continue to grow, and they'll help you move closer to God, and they'll help you unlock your spiritual abilities, and you're going to have a beautiful and wonderful life. Make sure you guys are constantly moving closer to the Creator and in His love, and then you can move closer to your angels, and you'll be able to achieve everything you set out to achieve. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao! Bye!